Hey, hi and welcome back. So in previous video, we completed the pin configuration of M3-T2-V4 microcontroller, and I hope that now you are a lot comfortable with the pins of M3-T2-V4 controller. Okay. So in this video, we are going to do the comparison between the M3-T2-V4 controller and Arduino Uno board. Now you will have a question why we are doing this comparison. Is it required to create our hardware? The answer is it is actually not required to create our hardware, but we are discussing it just to see what pins are called what pins on the Arduino Uno board. Okay, so we will quickly complete this particular video as there is actually not much to discuss. It's just the overview of Arduino Uno board and how exactly the pins of M3-T2-V4 is actually connected on the Arduino Uno board. Okay, alright, so now let's start with this video. So you already know the learning objective of this video. We are going to compare the M3-T2-V4 pin map with the Arduino Uno board. Okay. So now let's do the comparison. So we already discussed the pin configuration of this controller, and I hope that you are now a lot comfortable with all the pins which are present on this controller. Now let's try to see what pins are called what pins on the Arduino Uno board. So this is actually the Arduino Uno board. And on this Arduino Uno board, you can see this is actually M3-T2-V4 controller with DIP which stands for dual inline package, DIP 28 pins, DIP 28. So 28 actually represents the number of pins. So on this controller, there are total 28 pins, and 4 pins are actually extra on this particular package. Okay, and those pins are actually VCC and ADC 6 and ADC 7 pin. So you will not find ADC 6 and ADC 7 on this particular board, and along with that you will not find the extra VCC and ground on this particular controller. After that, we saw that there are different ports are there. Port B is there, port C is there, and port D is there. But when we deal with the Arduino board, we don't actually deal with these ports or the pins. They have given separate name or special name for each and every pin which is there on this Arduino Uno board. So you can see these are actually all the port pins starting from PD0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they called these pins as D0, D1, D2, D3, D4. So they actually call these pins as digital pin. Okay, and whenever you will write the code for the Arduino board using Arduino IDE, at that time we don't use these pins. Instead of that, we use these names. Okay, for example, if you have to generate a logic high on, let's say, D2 pin or PD2 pin, then you are going to use D2 there. Okay, you will not use PD2 there. Okay, so these are actually the 7 digital pins. Now again, if you see here, PB0 to PB5 pins are there, and these pins are called as again digital pins. The same number is actually continued here: 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there are actually 13 digital pins on left hand side. Then starting from PD 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 are there here. So PC0 to PC5, these pins are called as D14, D15, D16. So we use actually these pins when we deal with the Arduino Uno board. And you can see here, these pins are also called as analog pins. In front of these digital number or digital pins, they have written A0, A1, A2. So instead of calling these pins as ADC0, ADC1, they actually call it as A0, A1, A2. So you can see there are actually total 6 ADC pins which are exposed on this Arduino Uno board. So there are digital pins starting from D0 to D19. Okay, so D19. Which you can see here, D19, and there are analog pins starting from A0 to A5. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and these are the different pins which are there on this controller, and obviously it's going to have their special functionality which we already discussed when we discussed the pin configuration of this M3-T2-V4 controller. Okay, so in front of every pin you will find the special functionality which is performed by that particular pin. For example, D0, D1 executes RX and TXD functionality. So likewise, they have given the functionality for different pins in this particular image. Okay, So that's only the difference. I hope that now you are a little more compatible with the Arduino Uno board and you will be able to design your customized Arduino Uno board after completing this particular training. Okay. So I assure you, you will have that much confidence. You will be able to design your own customized board based on this particular controller. Okay. If you don't want to use this particular controller, then you can also use this particular controller, as this is a DIP controller. It's a through-hole package. So it will be a lot easy for you when you will do the soldering of this controller. Okay. So that's the point. And in the end, this is actually the ICSP header. Here you can see it is written ICSP, which stands for in-circuit serial programming. So you can use these pins to program the code in the microcontroller. But as I told you, whenever we deal with the Arduino boards, we actually use this particular connector to program the code in the microcontroller. And this particular IC which is there in front of this connector, it's somehow connected to the RX and TX pin. So you can see here, these are actually the LEDs of RX and TX pin. And these pins are actually used to program the code in the microcontroller. In the Arduino Uno board, or if you are dealing with the Arduino Mega, again, same pins will be used to program the code in the microcontroller. Okay. And not this ICSP header. But why we use ICSP header to program the code in the microcontroller for the first time, you will get that in the upcoming videos. So it's going to be a little suspense for you. Alright. So that's what I wanted to tell in this video. I hope that now you have a good understanding of Arduino Uno board and this M3-T2-V4 microcontroller. Okay. Alright. So that's what I wanted to tell in this video. Now I will see you in the next video, which is about understanding circuit of microcontroller part 1. So I will see you in the next video now.